the small changes that transformed his life. Most people believe that changing their life requires one huge decision, one lucky opportunity, or one extraordinary moment. But real change usually happens much more quietly. It begins with the tiny choices we make every day. A few minutes wasted on the phone may not seem important. Sleeping late once may not matter. Putting off an important task for another day may feel harmless. But when these little choices become daily habits, they can slowly take control of our lives. At the same time, many people dream about becoming more successful, confident, peaceful, and productive. They want a better future, but they keep following the same routine. They wait until they feel motivated. The problem is that motivation comes and goes. Consistency is what creates lasting change. This is the story of a young man named Ryan. Ryan lived with his family in a quiet town. He wasn't considered especially talented or successful. School had never been easy for him, and he often struggled to complete even simple tasks. His room was usually untidy. His sleep routine was terrible. He spent far too much time scrolling through videos and watching other people's lives. Every night, Ryan told himself that tomorrow would be different. But the next morning usually looked exactly like the previous one. One afternoon, while visiting a small bookstore, Ryan noticed an elderly man sitting near the window. The man looked at Ryan for a moment and asked, "Why do you seem so unhappy?" Ryan explained that he wanted to improve his life, but every attempt seemed to fail. The old man listened quietly. Then he handed Ryan a small notebook. Ryan looked at it with confusion. "How can this little notebook help me?" The old man smiled. "You don't need to rebuild your entire life today. Start by improving one small thing at a time." Ryan wasn't completely convinced, but he took the notebook home. On the first page, he wrote, "Become a little better every day." The idea seemed almost too simple. But Ryan decided to give it a chance. Instead of creating impossible goals, he chose tiny tasks. The next morning, he got out of bed a few minutes earlier. He didn't suddenly become productive. He simply started his day a little sooner. Later, he cleaned a small part of his room. The following day, he read a couple of pages from a book. After that, he went outside for a short walk. He also began replacing some unhealthy daily choices with better ones. Nothing dramatic happened. There was no instant transformation. Ryan still made mistakes. He still had lazy days. He still struggled sometimes. But he continued. After several weeks, he began noticing small differences. His room stayed cleaner. He completed more of the things he started. His mind felt less scattered. Most importantly, he began feeling that he could actually control his choices. One day, a friend noticed his new routine and laughed. "You really think these tiny changes are going to make you successful?" Ryan didn't argue. He had learned something important. If negative habits could slowly create problems, positive habits could slowly create progress too. So he kept going. Weeks became months. Ryan stopped chasing overnight success. Instead, he concentrated on making better choices consistently. A year later, the difference was obvious. Ryan wasn't a completely different person because of luck. He had changed because his daily actions had changed. He had become more organized, focused, responsible, and confident. Eventually, people started asking him, "What happened? How did you change so much?" Ryan never gave them a complicated answer. He simply said, "I stopped ignoring the little things." And that lesson is something many people forget. Your future is often shaped by what you repeatedly do when nobody is watching. A single productive day may not transform your life. Reading one page won't suddenly make you an expert. Saving a small amount of money won't make you wealthy overnight. Taking one walk won't completely change your health. But repeating positive actions for a long time can create a huge difference. Think about a tree. You don't see it growing every minute. Yet beneath the surface, its roots are developing and becoming stronger. Habits work in a similar way. At first, progress can be almost invisible, but eventually, the results begin to appear. Small habits can also change the way you see yourself. When you make a small promise to yourself and actually keep it, you build trust in yourself. That trust can lead to confidence. Confidence can make discipline easier. And discipline can influence the direction of your future. The biggest mistake many people make is quitting before the results become visible. They expect immediate progress. They want instant motivation. They want quick success. When nothing seems to happen, they return to their old routines. But meaningful change takes patience. Ryan eventually understood that success isn't usually created during one dramatic moment. It is created through ordinary actions repeated again and again. Getting up on time, reading regularly, learning new skills, using time wisely, taking care of responsibilities, staying focused when distractions appear. Each action may look insignificant by itself. Together, they can completely change a person's direction. I also learned that waiting for motivation isn't always the best approach. There were times when I wanted to accomplish something, but kept waiting until I felt ready. Then I realized that action often comes before motivation. Instead of trying to accomplish everything at once, I began focusing on small improvements. I worked on managing my time. I reduced unnecessary distractions. I became more consistent with important tasks. The results weren't immediate, but over time, I noticed changes in my confidence, focus, and productivity. My life didn't suddenly become perfect. The direction simply started becoming better. And sometimes, changing your direction is more important than changing everything at once. So if you feel stuck right now, don't wait for the perfect day. You don't need to fix everything tonight. Choose one small thing. Wake up slightly earlier. Read a few pages. Learn something useful. Finish one task you've been avoiding. Take one positive step. Then repeat it tomorrow. Because a tiny action may seem meaningless today, but repeated consistently, it can become the foundation of a completely different future. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more motivational stories, useful lessons, and English learning content. And remember, you don't have to become a completely new person overnight. Just become a little better than yesterday. One small choice, one small habit, one day at a time.